All right, a very good afternoon, good morning. Not that there are many in the morning at this moment because they're all at Friedrichshafen, so I'm sure Ed's having a good time. We just want to welcome everybody onto a very short DATV Worldwide Net today. Not many people on. I just want to see who's on the list. If I can get the list to come up. That will help, of course. We have a G8KOE to take it. Thereafter, Michael, EA7KIR. Then over to Martin. Hello, Martin. That prod of last week seemed to have pulled you out of the woodwork, a quick high. And then ZS1 Mike. And then we'll see who follows on shortly. Just a quick thing. Of course, we have Ed at the convention, and he's had a lot of fun, that's for sure. I just want to see if I can get that. Ed sent a couple of photos, so maybe we can just show you. Let's go over to WhatsApp. That is F5UUI, or is it UII? That's right, on the left. We do know the guy in the middle, and Zvi. We haven't seen Zvi for some time. That's at Friedrichshafen. And another photo that Ed sent were these. I don't know who the center guy is, but the guy on the right is Papa Radio 8 Kilo Whiskey. Maybe I can just frame the thing a bit better. There we go. And then the next slide was, I wonder if we know that guy, Papa Alpha 3 Alpha Oscar Delta. So there we go. It seems as though it's been a very, very nice a couple of days. Just want to move this down. And I'm sure they all had a very, very good time indeed. Right. With that, Martin, I just want to check that list one more time, if you don't mind. Let's just see. Yeah, that's still the list as we have it. So I'll pass it back to you. G8KOE to please take it. From Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India.
Right, looks like we've got a test card, and see how we're doing. Yep, got a bit of sound, I think. I was getting concerned that it was just going to be me and you there, Gary. So it seems to have expanded a bit, which is brilliant, absolutely good. And I thought there was, as we had a little bit of problem with the logging on to the schedule side of things, I thought it was me again this morning. But anyway, not got a phenomenal amount. Well, I can sort of expand things. I watched on QO-100 a video which was with DF5 X-Ray Victor, which I'd never heard of the person, but oh, I don't want that one. We want the centre screen. If one looks him up on QRZ, I won't attempt to pronounce his name, so it'll sound terrible if I do it, but there he is, and he's also linked with the www.classicbroadcast.de, which I think I showed a bit last week, which is worth going and investigating, particularly if you like lots of pictures, which I think I also showed of various kit, some lovely pictures. So do go and check it out. But then I didn't realise that he was connected with Mi Amigo. So I managed to locate the video that I was looking at, which I'll show a little bit of it. I won't show all of it because it's about half an hour. But if people want a link to find it on YouTube, then quite happy to put it up. but this shows his site and his AM sort of broadcast side of things, which I must say fascinates me, the shortwave side. But let's just I'll show you a little bit of this video.
So this is our special Radio Mi Amigo broadcast on the top of the Eiffel here in Germany, just south of Cologne. And it's our pleasure as a group here at Radio Mi Amigo International to introduce you to the one and only Burkhard, who helps to run our shortwave service from Krakow. Burkhard, hi.
Hi, Paul.
And most of all, thank you for the beer.
Oh, I hope it tastes good for you.
It's brilliant. It's lovely. So this is a pretty impressive setup here, really, isn't it? We've got aerials everywhere. We've got towers. There's a whole load of equipment which hopefully you're going to show us around. Can you just explain a bit about this site before we start looking in detail at it?
Yes, this area around 6,000 square meters was built in the early 60s and was formerly used as a police station for radio communication. And the setup is with 5 antennas in shortwave as a Breitband dipoles, and in the middle with microwave dishes for the connectivity formerly to Düsseldorf, to the main city, and now it's used for the mobile provider like Vodafone and To Mobile. And yeah, this is a basic antenna setup here in the area. Every antenna can transmit from 3 megahertz, 3 megacycles up to 50 megacycles.
Right, we'll go back to me. It's probably enough of it to give you an idea. But when it takes you into the bungalow and down into the basement as such, or the bunker shall we say, and shows all the AM transmissions that he's got down there, and the video lasts for about half an hour. Let's find and see if I can copy the link and stick it into the chat for those that are interested. That goes to there. And obviously the Mi Amigo, if you're interested into that one, we might as well put that in as well. And you can easily find his other site, but his classic broadcast. But I can, as we're doing all the sites, we might as well just copy and paste that in as well. But being someone who first started listening to Radio Caroline, and then Mi Amigo and such like, brought back lots of memories, and some of the mechanics etc. there are quite amazing. So that covers that. SAQ, I did that was transmitting this morning, and we did attempt to pick it up. My Morse is non-existent, so I think I've got a little bit of a broadcast. It wasn't totally clear, but it was readable. Some interference did come up, but we'll see whether we can play a little bit of that. Well, we cut it off there. It continues on for quite some time, but I was pleased to actually get it and receive it without too much difficulty. So it's got an E-probe amplified up on the peak of the house, and using my SDR Play SDR. It's the DX version, which covers the low frequencies, and that's all I was using to receive it. The other thing I've been up to is my potty feeding the dish. It's now naked. There she is. There's the dish on top of the garage. All the plastic that was on the front of it disintegrated with the sun had got to it, so it's now I also changed the coupler because things had slipped round, and I was losing a lot on receive from the LMB, but that's it now. Whether I end up putting some form of cover on it, I don't know, but most things that I was experimenting around with, the losses were quite phenomenal. So we decided at the moment just to go that route and leave it there. The other thing I will show is I've been playing with Thank you. Why did I turn the sound off? Must have clicked on the wrong thing. Apologies there. Yeah, I know. It may be a plastic bag. It I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to the camera. Now I've got a bit of sound. So we've got 70 degrees. We've got 90 degrees. We've got 120, which then gives you the ability to zoom in and to pan around, which is quite good. So here's a question I expect Mike will be able to answer. With the resolution side of things, presumably the quoted resolution is when you're on the fully wide 120 or whatever, and as you zoom in, etc., you're losing. You've only got so much the definition as such, but I find it very confusing to make up my mind what's best, what isn't best. But anyway, that's 90 degrees, and that's the 70 degrees setting. But for the 34 quid, I'm quite impressed with it. Maybe not quite as good as the Dell in some respects, but that's what we go with there. That's about all I've got on that. It catches me as well, Mike. Okay, right. I think that's enough waffle from me. Apologies, not very well done, and I'll try and do better on making sure the mic's on, because I'm not monitoring myself in the ear. Right, it's around to you then, Mike, I think. So you'll be able to criticise the audio. I had to shut the door as well because wife was on the phone, and was picking up the phone conversation she was having. So anyway, I'll put a test card and pass it over to the right, EA7KR to take it. JKOE.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Michael, the A7KIR in Spain. We only lost your sound towards the end. At the beginning it was fine, Martin. I don't know if you misunderstood that, but we got your beginning, and then you saw the messages appear and you put it back on again. So we didn't lose too much. Yeah, digital zooms on cameras, that's exactly what they do. They zoom into the available pixels on the sensor and then use as many as you need to get the size of the shot. So the definition absolutely does change. And the extreme example are those cameras that will have a 10 times 1,000 zoom or something, you know, which they do, but at about 3 dots per inch resolution or something, whatever it's called. Your sound is fine, Martin, actually. I'm not going to criticise your sound. Even the level was correct according to my newfangled loudness meter, which I won't bore everybody with. What I will bore everybody with, though, is I'm having a lot of trouble with this. I know everybody says they're not worth the price, but I've got one, and I'm determined to get it to work. And believe me, I have spent some time on this, on and off for the last couple of weeks, and still I cannot receive the beacon. I can certainly get the satellite and see the Arabic channels, and according to the scan, it's even scanning the frequency that I've asked for, the beacon frequency, at the correct 1500 kilobits per second or whatever it is. I've forgotten the terminology already. I've updated the firmware to see if that made any difference, and as far as I know, I've now got the latest firmware. I just can't remember what it is. I'll switch it on, actually, and if it doesn't take too long booting, I can tell you. But it's made no difference at all. I am wondering if it's just not getting enough power from up there, the dish. Now on my receiver, which is Longmind based, I'm getting a dBm power of minus 58 at the moment, 58, 59. It's alternating between the two. Could this be a reason that, you know, maybe this is just not sensitive enough to pick up a low signal? If I can just get to the version info, wherever it is, click, absolutely useless bloody navigation, isn't it? Okay. It's the hardware's. If you've got one of these things, you might like to just write down these numbers and look at yours and then tell me on the next round what you're using. But it's a V8 finder meter, V8 finder. It's the, as you can see, it's the gold edition. Okay. I bought it allegedly new. It certainly looks new. I know they don't make them anymore. I bought it from a, not eBay, but an equivalent. It's called Wallapop. So the hardware is 1.2. The software is 105.5.163. That's 105.5.163. And the date of that is June 4, 2021. Okay, the date of the hardware is August 1st, 2019. As far as I know, it's a genuine one. It's not a clone. But it frustrates the hell out of me. It really does. Because I see other people and they've got apparently exactly the same thing. What firmware they're using, I have no idea. But I mean, everybody says it's a pain in the backside to get it working, and it is. There's no question about that. Even more so for me. But I am following what other people appear to have done. And it even seems to hunt when you do the scan. It's the first, mine's the first that comes up because it's the lowest. It's the lowest bearing. I think it sorts them by how far east they are or something. I don't know. But anyhow, it comes up first, and and then it just doesn't get it. You see, so it gets all the others, but not this one. So if anybody can help me out on that, I very much appreciate it, even though, as many people have told me, it's a load of rubbish. I still want it to work. It's become an obsession, you understand. What else have I been doing? Other boring stuff. I think I've learned a little bit more about the Go programming language, which I've used, and the first projects I ever wrote were my receiver and my transmitter entirely in Go. And although they work, you know, I want to sort of make them work better, you know. So I'm trying to get my head around certain aspects of the language and begin to rewrite it in a more idiomatic way, as they like to. That's a word you come across if you use Go, idiomatic. I think it means idiot-proof, which is probably why I'm failing. Maybe I'm not an idiot at all. Then again, I'm sure people would disagree with that. Okay, so I've waffled enough, I think. Just a minute, I've got a response here. Blah, 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 blah. Do iPhones have an optical zoom, or are they fixed? No, I think they have I think it does the same thing, actually. But as they start off with a 4K thing, as Martin's does, you don't really notice the difference, but they don't zoom in that far. At least mine doesn't, although mine's not the absolute latest one. Okay, Mike says, mine gets the beacon, but it's a different type. I set the LMB to be 950 to 2. Yeah, well, that's one of the things I can't do. No, I can do that. One of the tutorials, Mike, says you should set the LMB to 5,000 to something else higher up, and I can't remember the numbers. And mine, although it gives the 5,000, it doesn't go high enough. So there is a difference there. Oh, so it won't work if you use a bullseye. Oh, well, I am using a bullseye. When you come on, Mike, I'd love an explanation for that. That's because the internal tuner doesn't tune below 900. Yeah. So I didn't know there was a difference between the bullseye and what other people are using. And then Martin says the video by Justin worked for me, Michael. Yeah, well, I think I've watched that, but I'll watch it again. I'll watch it again. Right, okay, enough of that. So it's over to, where are we going? It's over to the other Martin, G4 FKK, the one I was just speaking about. Over to you, Martin, from EA7KIR in Malaga.
Hopefully this will work. EA7KIR. Oh, seems to be working. G4FKK, yes, afternoon all. And no, it's just a coincidence, Gary, that I happen to be at home, although it's a bit of a, I won't be here for long. Basically, we're having a late lunch or early dinner at my daughter's. And I said to Anne, when she was about to set off, I said, no, I'm gonna hang on for the net because I haven't been on it for ages, and they'll think I don't love them anymore. HI. So here I am. Anyway, yeah, good pictures of Ed and everyone in Friedrichshafen. Gary, I got those on the WhatsApp group this morning. So Ed's gone a long way to get there, hasn't he? And Martin, he had classic broadcast. Thanks for putting those links up. I think I've probably spoken to you before about that, but I used to listen to Radio Caroline and Radio London in the good old days, and in fact, is partly why I ended up doing what I did, because I used to listen to Tony Blackburn, and there was one occasion he mentioned an engineer or a technical operator called Nigel, I think, and I was only about 6 or 7. I thought, oh, that sounds like a really good job. And then years later, when they started showing EastEnders on the telly at Elstree, we covered the opening of it when I was at BBC Radio London, and I suddenly realised I was sitting in the outside broadcast van driving the Tony Blackburn shows. I thought, oh, that's what I wanted to do when I was 6. So there you go. Anyway, and so I'm going to have a look at those a bit later on. So thanks for that. Yeah, the potty. Well, I've got my patch feed in the potty in a plastic bag. Iceland plastic bags seem fairly impervious to ultraviolet. Mine seems to have lasted a reasonably long time. And but what I did as well, I cut a sparkling water bottle in half lengthways, so I had a bit of guttering, effectively see-through guttering, and I just put that over the top to keep the rain off. So perhaps a plastic bag and a bit of gutter might do the job, Martin. And the new camera looked good, by the way. It seems to be less, has less definition than your normal camera, but it was still very, very good and excellent. You can zoom and pan and things. Mike, yeah, I think I've pretty much got the same sat finder as you. However, it's not in the shack, so I can't tell you what hardware or software it's got. But my distant memory, because it was a long time ago, it's before I got on the satellite, I'm sure Justin's video showed how to get it working on 70 centimetres. I don't know, I can't remember, it's a long time ago, and by fiddling about with it, I found I could see the beacon. I couldn't see anything below 1 mega symbol, but I think that's just what it is. When Tony Blackburn was a lad, well, he was sort of a lad. I don't know. When I started at Radio London, BBC Radio London, Mike, he was 42, and of course, and I was about, I think I was 24, so of course I thought he was ancient. So he's only 20 or so years older than me, unfortunately. Can anyone see my transmission on 495262? I'll have a look in a minute, Mark. Oh yeah, we are D2 with Mike. Mike can see anything on there. Afternoon, Tajir. Thanks for the signal report. Yeah, so there you go. Right. Well, I think that's about it for me. If I'm still here when it comes round again, Gary, I'll pop up and say goodbye. But probably I'll be dragged off to my daughter's QTH before then. But we'll have to wait and see. Right. What have I done with the mouse? Oh, there it is. The bench is a bit of a nightmare. I'm fixing a clock at the moment. So it's round to Leon, as per the list. So unless that's changed, let's have a quick look. No, it's round to Leon. So I hope you're doing well, Leon. And all is good in Worcester. Zulu Sierra 1, Mike, G4 Foxtrot, Kilo is standing by for you.
Okay, thanks Martin. G4FKK and the group, ZS1 Mike saying good afternoon to everybody. There's no mornings and no evening people here. Short group. Okay, Martin J8KOE, that video really it's fascinating, and that's not radio, that's wireless. That's the stuff I love. Yeah, at some stage you should show the whole thing. Michael, your meter thing. Okay, first, neg 58 on mini tune is a very weak signal. The mini tuner will easily work there. The mini tuner works at below -90. It still works. Mine at least. when I do local tests. But I know that these little field strength meters, they are not as sensitive even as a normal DSTV receiver. They need a good signal. So for starters, make sure you have either a better LNB or a shorter cable from the LNB to the receiver. Mine works fine on the beacon, but my signal here is minus 30 dBm. My RF power coming into the mini tuner is minus 30 dBm. And my little field strength meter works perfectly on that. That's the one thing. The other thing, as I said to you the other day, you must be very careful. Are you using a modified LNB or a standard off-the-shelf one? Because as some, I think you said, Mike said, remember that the tuning range of those things, they start at 950 and they go to 2040, I think is the upper limit that those things will tune. And you cannot, on mine anyway, you only have like a choice of 3 LNB local oscillator frequencies. You cannot type it in. So you must be very sure of the calculation of the frequency. When I use a modified LNB, I add the difference between the modified local oscillator and the normal oscillator, and I select the normal oscillator, and the difference I add to the frequency that I dial in for the beacon, and then it works. But yes, as Martin also says, only down to 1 megasymbol, not lower. Apparently there is 1 or 2 brands that will go lower symbol rates, but in general they don't go lower than 1. So that's my pennies worth on that thing. G4FKK, he didn't show us anything, no. He just spoke about the old radio stuff, which we don't know here. Okay, Phil asked for the schematic of my bat receiver that I made. Now, I must still draw it out for him. It goes like this. This is my first attempt. I do all my schematics in pencil. Now with this one, I have 2 op amps in cascade for the amplification. Then I have the NE602 as the mixer, and I had a 555 as a local oscillator, and then after that the LM386 for the audio amp. But before I made the PC board, I decided, no, I'm going to try this NE602 and see if that can run low enough, if it's internal oscillator. And yeah, this is the schematic for the NE602 using its internal oscillator, and it actually does go down to kilocycles, like 20 kilocycles. It'll still run, although it's a VHF UHF device. So when I did my final thing, this is what the final thing looks like. This is the component view of the board. It's the op amps and the NE602 self-oscillating now with the LM386 at the top right hand corner as the audio amplifier. So what I'm going to do is draw out the thing. I think it must be this way around. This is the actual PC board layout that I did. This is the board. Not that that's worth anything to fill, but I will redraw the schematic with everything as it is on the PC board. So I just need a bit of time. But Phil's not here today, but anyway, in case he looks at the recording afterwards, that's my intention. I will give it to him, but in a little while. I have to redraw the whole schematic the way it is in the final product. Okay, that's it from me. Back to Gary. ZS6YI for the group from ZS1 Mike.
Want to try again, Nick? G4 IMO, ZA6 Yankee India. Nick?
Yes. Do I have sound? Yes, I do. Good. Hang on, where's my camera? I was waiting to come on there, but somebody came on. Excuse me. Somebody was transmitting, but there was no transport stream, so I don't know who that was. But anyway, I think I'm on. Anyway, good afternoon to everybody. Nice to see you on here. It's been a long time since I've been on the net. Had a load of problems here with my computer. It's not very old, this computer. It's only just 2 years old. And the problem with it was you switch it on in the morning, and as it fires up, and it comes up with the screen, and you enter the passcode, and then you just get a blank screen. And that was it. Absolutely nothing. So after a lot of head scratching, I managed to get it into safe mode, and that allowed me to look on the internet for various things to try, and it looked like the obvious thing would be to update all the drivers. So so I went through the procedure for that, to update the drivers, and it all worked ever since. So anyway, it's all working now, more or less. Anyway, look at the list here. Oh, yeah, thanks for that information, Martin, on the Mi Amigo. Is that the one? I've heard it on shortwave on is it 6085? But is that? I think that's they call themselves Mi Amigo International, don't they? I don't think that is associated with the Mi Amigo that's they use the LV18, don't they? In fact, I was listening to their internet stream this morning from the LV18, and that they would just call themselves Mi Amigo. So I don't know whether they are linked together or whether they're two separate entities. I don't know, but anyway, all very interesting. I'll have a look at that website a little bit later after the net. But yeah, all very interesting. What else was I going to say? Oh, SAQ. Yeah, I watched the YouTube video this morning. It was very entertaining. It's the first time I'd actually watched the whole video, and then after that, I had a listen for it. I did hear some Morse code, but it was really weak, and it kept drifting in and out of the noise, so wasn't particularly strong. I think the last time I heard it was over the winter period, wasn't it? So maybe propagation is better in the winter, but it was certainly very weak here anyway. What have I been up to? So apart from repairing the computer, I've got a HP photo scanner printer here, which also had packed up. Was making lots of funny noises, which I managed to repair. And the other thing, my sat nav, on the side of my sat nav is a very tiny mini USB socket, which was very loose, and it actually come away from the contacts on the printed circuit board. So you plug it in, and sort of 1 minute is charging and then the next minute is not. So I had an attempt at changing the socket, which I don't know what the procedure is for changing one of those, but it seems almost impossible because you've got 5 connections to the socket itself, which actually make contact with the tracks underneath, and then because the thing's in a metal shell, you've got 4 solder contacts as well. So you've got to heat those up. You've got to heat the 4 solder contacts up at the same time as the 5 connections to the printed board, which is a nightmare. But I did manage to replace the socket, and my sat nav is now working. Right, I think that's about it. Yeah, Michael, that little handheld thing, yeah, that looks very useful. I think it's H.264, isn't it? I don't think that any of them do H.265 or even low symbol rates. But as Mike says, if the tuner only goes down as far as 950 and you're feeding in 739, I wouldn't think it would work. But anyway, perhaps you can use a converter or something. But as I say, I think Justin's put a YouTube video on there, so I haven't seen that. I'll have a look at that later. But anyway, all very interesting. I looked at the list just now, and there wasn't anybody else on there after me. Let me have a look. I'm not seeing anybody else on the list after me, so I will put it back to net control. Round to you, Gary. ZS6YI to take G4 IMO.
Oh, let's see if I can jump in here. Yep, I just popped up to say hello. Sorry for jumping in, just got back. Fired up. A bit late. It's those model airplane problems. Keep you out. It's been not too bad this morning. Over lunchtime. A wee bit of breeze, but it's overcast, which means it's not been too warm at the field today. Anyway, thought I'd just say good afternoon. Not a lot to report. The only thing I've really done is the tower for the winch system has got a electric winch on it, which is a can't remember the company who did it. Anyway, it's converted to fit on the tower, and the battery box was falling apart after 13 odd years in the sunshine. So I've had to redo that over the last well, yesterday actually. Got a new box for it, so that'll keep the battery going. That's not done too bad. That's an ex-car battery, so it must be 15 plus years old. That was taken out of a car that was scrapped many years ago, and it's still going. Works the winch a treat. Right, that's it from me. Good afternoon to everybody. I'll make this just a quick jump in to say hello this afternoon. I've got other things to get on with, so I'll say 7.3s for this afternoon, and
Okay, hello Brian. Yeah, I gave a little gap. Thought somebody might pop in. I know that Martin needs to run, so I'll bring Martin in next, just so that he can say cheers. I know he needs to get going, and then Martin can pass it to the other Martin. So there we go. Just a quick one. I saw a nice little advert on Alibaba or whatever they call the thing, and so I thought, well, let me get it. See if I can just get this focused. But it was supposed to be a complete microscope setup for soldering, etc., and nicely advertised, and 4K, great pictures. So I ordered, and it was supposed to be a special, but it came with no lens, no stand, a lot of other things like a fancy little remote control. If I can just get this, there we go. That came with it, and a whole bunch of cables. So it ended up, I had to go and order the actual stand that this now screws onto, and also the lens so that you can start seeing the thing. So that's going to be arriving Monday or Tuesday. So now when you add the two up and you go further down these adverts, you see, there's a complete unit. And now with the additional transport, this thing has cost me a lot more money than what I should have paid had I bought, or had I been probably read properly. You've got to read very carefully. Otherwise, they just send you half the thing. Anyway, may that be a tip for others. Martin, I know you want to run. So let me pass it to you. And then you pass it to King of England, G4FKK. And thanks so much for coming up. Really appreciate that. ZA6YI.
Okay, Gary. Well, you say the nicest things. HI. Very good. Oh, well, yes, I'll quickly whiz through them. I mean, I probably have to leave just after 3, so, well, 3 o'clock my time, whatever that'll be, 1400 UTC. So I will try and watch round as much as I can on the next over. I've got to mention, Martin, by the way, that I decoded your Morse for you. Where did I write that down? Well, I decoded the bit you sent CQ, then SAQ 3 times, then it started saying this is Grimeton, and then I got ADO, but then you cut it off, so I don't know what the rest of it might have said, but very good. Yes, okay, on the tuner, the sat finder. Well, Mike reckons that Justin thinks it goes down to 230. So, and I remember I was playing with it to try and see things on 70 SEMS, so which is 437, the TV bit over here. So I think it should work, Michael, if you've got enough signal, as it were. Nice to see you, Nick. Sorry about the PC problems and the scanner as well. That's computers for you. And Brian, you had me fooled because you're still very slightly LF, and well, I say you're LF. You're lower in frequency than everyone else seems to be. So my Winterhill didn't lock up at first. Well, that's funny. It's trying to lock but not doing it. So anyway, good to see you. And yeah, it's a bit of a cheek, isn't it, Gary? Microscope with no lens or anything else. But Tajir popped up and said that was a good choice, and certainly he gets whatever. Perhaps he's using one as well, and it obviously works okay. Interested in your bat detector as well, there, Leon. Chris G4SDG sent me some signals he'd got from bats, but I haven't seen a bat round here for, well, at least 4 years, possibly more. So whether it's worth building one or not, I don't really know. I didn't show you anything, Leon, so let me quickly. I can. The whole. I know everyone knows my shack is a complete disaster area, but it's even worse than usual at the moment. And if I get the unsteady cam, this is my new toy. I expect you'll be able to tell what it is, Leon, but to save guesswork, it's for removing mainsprings from clock barrels. So this is a clock mainspring, which to my watchmaker's eyes is just enormous. great big thing, and very dangerous without a good machine to extract them from the barrel in which they live. They're very much smaller than this when they're wound up. Anyway, I think that one, again, you'll probably know better than me, Leon, but I think that one's set. The coils are very close together in the middle. They're a bit wider on the outside because I tried bending it back again. And it went back again, but I'm not sure that's a good sign for a clock mainspring. Anyway, Gary, thanks ever so much for letting me in. So I will be watching as much as I can, and it's great to see everyone who is on the net. Oh, it was good to see the picture of Zvi, by the way. As you say, I haven't seen Zvi for ages. I haven't seen Bert for a while either, so hopefully, well, he's obviously okay because he's at the show with everyone else. Right, with that then, back round to the King of England. Let's not that card. Oh, where's my test card? There we go. I'll put a test card up and then I'll say cheerio to you all, and I will try and get on the net. I was explaining to Gary on the WhatsApp group, by the way, that Sundays I'm either not here or we've got people round, so the net is difficult to get onto, certainly this time of the year at any rate. Round to you, Martin, G8KOE, and the worldwide net, G4 Fox, Kilo, standing by. Cheers all.
Right, thank you. So many things, and as for springs, and I'm impressed that you were able to decode the Morse. I just wish I could. The brain, yeah, I've got lots more of it. I thought it was, there's only a little bit of Morse I can read. It's usually call signs of repeaters that I've had put up on in the past. But all good fun. And let's, before I forget, Matt, thank you very much for explaining that. I think that warrants a video, you go into great depths, and I'd find it very interesting. The camera I was using is this one, which is really high quality, high expense. My £34 camera, which there she goes. It it's not bad for the price, I think. And that's it on the 120, and obviously that's what it zoomed in. But I'm quite impressed with the focus of it. Actually, it seems to focus quite well. Anyway, that's scary, that is, isn't it? So everybody's probably turned off. Anyway, we won't do any of that anymore. But I've sort of been using it as a roving cam. But really impressed with it. Right, so that's that. The bag, yeah, I will put a bag on there, Mike. I sort of have to get on top of the garage, and I didn't. I haven't. I will do. It's been dry, but so presumably with the potty, is it the fact that the rain gets between the two? Is it just the tarnishing of everything up? And could you not put a sort of a plastic ring? Sort of almost to fill the gap between the two elements of the potty. I was more concerned on the receive side, degrading the receive side, rain, spiders, corrosion, etc. Just go to Iceland. Does the Iceland bag reduce the receive side at all? I was thinking of getting the hairnet, actually, hair sort of, or even those elasticated. Anyway, yeah, I'll just get I don't go to Iceland. It'll have to be a Tesco bag. Only 10p. I can't afford 10p. Not on my retirement. I don't go anywhere, you see. Could you send me a bag? No, it's all right. I'll find a bag. Tesco bags only last a few weeks. Perhaps that's a whole new video. of testing it. Anyway, when the previous container I had, I went and purchased another one, and I was going to stick on it, and it was diabolical. Anyway, to the other Martin before he disappears, bats. This is what I get here. I've shown it before, but I'll only show a little bit of it. So every night at about 10 o'clock, it's been more like about 2 minutes past 10, the garden has 3 to 4 bats that give a display for about 10 to 15 minutes. Absolutely amazing. They come within feet of the window, so I can look out the lounge window and just watch the display, which I do most nights. Absolutely superb. And the shortwave frequencies, there are 3 for Mi Amigo International, which I can't remember, but the one you quoted was correct, and the 3 are transmitted from his site. He transmits the Mi Amigo transmissions. They're 3 1 kilowatt transmitters. Bats can't see through windows. Yes, that's a good point. So there are 3 transmitters down there. There's a TV transmitter down there, AM. There's a transmitter he uses for his broadcasts, his amateur broadcasts, which I think he does on top band and 80 metres. What else was there? But the spares, or the room that he's got with bits and, in fact, the whole thing, it's worth watching. I'm happy to show it at the end of the net if people want me to. Absolutely, well, I was blown away with it, and it's only took me a while to find it, to be able to download it, which I now have on the computer. Right, I think that's probably it. And Matt, why aren't you transmitting and joining the net? You know, that's surely, you started off showing good pictures and things and that, and then you've gone off. I've tried to watch many videos recently, but I haven't found them exciting. You seem to have lost your way, I think, a little bit. But anyway, that's enough abuse for everybody. Another good net, even though a small net, but it doesn't have to be a good net to be. Anyway, I'm waffling a lot. And off frequency, yes, I suffer the same problem with people that are off frequency. MS chocolate fudge shook. Oh dear. People off frequency, I quite often miss on them the same way. And using the sat finder, why bother with the sat finder? I think I told you to use Tom's program, which you've got an Android app, so you can go and stand underneath your dish and look at on your phone, or you can just take your laptop. Just being the other, I've got one of those sat finder things. I wish I'd never purchased it. It seemed like a good idea. It's a black one. I will dig it out at some stage, but I did get to receive a few, but it wasn't very sensitive. I didn't find it. In fact, it wasn't very helpful in setting things up at all. In fact, as I said, shouldn't have purchased it. Right, on that note, just put it in the bin. It'll make you feel much better there. You could play the audio of it crunching as it. Anyway, 7.3 is all. EAE7KR to take it. JKE. Put in a test card.
Yes. Well, there is a reason. I think it's a reason why I haven't been able to do what you suggested, Martin, and that is I don't have an Android phone, and I don't have a Windows PC because I use Apple. So that's one reason. Although I might be wrong, maybe Tom has made it available for other people as well. It's very annoying, you know, is this, you know, the obsession with Windows. My God. I use one of these for Martin. 99 centinos in the supermarket for €5. No, or it might be €5 for 5, I can't remember. But it just so happens that the potty fits exactly. You put this on the back of the potty. So you cut a hole in it, right, and a slot. Stick it on the back of the potty so it's pointing that way. Glue it on. And then just do that. Done. The only thing is, but this might be an artifact of living in Spain, with the sun being somewhat stronger and more persistent than you get over there, is they only last about 2 years. And then they disintegrate. So I put a new one on, and this is ready for another 2 years now, the one upstairs, and there's a spare. But it seems to work fine. However, the potty has definitely discoloured itself, but that, you know, I mean, I don't think that's water getting in there. I suppose some condensation can get in. It's not going to be absolutely watertight, although I did try to make it like that. So it's not hermetically sealed, as you might say. But, you know, oxygen changes the colour of metals as well, doesn't it? It doesn't have to be wet oxygen, I think. Anyhow, it seems to work for me. And as regards attenuation, it makes no difference whatsoever. Not at all. Absolutely transparent. Absolutely transparent. And the reason for that is you can stick them in a microwave. It says so on the back. You can freeze them, you can do whatever you want with them, but they don't survive the sun, but I don't think much does it, really? If anybody's got a really, really good memory, can you notice if my picture is better than it normally is? Is it sharper? You see, it's difficult for me to tell because I only have a monitor this size, and I know some of you using big monitors. But I'm looking at myself, and it's kind of similar to other people's, but I still think it's softer. And I want to know what's my picture quality like, basically, because I was transmitting 720p, and now I'm transmitting 1080p. Frankly, I can't tell the difference. But then I'm only using a very small monitor. So I don't know. Comments, please. Anyhow, that's it for me for this week. I'll carry on doing what I'm doing. Believe me, I'm doing this hobby every day of the week, and it never stops. And I'm up to here in the Go language at the moment. I solved one problem. I've arranged these things so that when you switch on the Pi, it auto boots the application, and it was working absolutely fine on the receiver but not on the transmitter, and it's bugged me for a long time as that. I had to log in on a terminal and then SSH and fire it off that way. I've solved it. So here's something you might not know about, or maybe you do. In Raspberry config, and indeed in the desktop as well, you can actually say wait for network. Not true. Doesn't work. Well, it might work a bit, but it doesn't work in my case. So I've solved it by writing my own little Go routine, which is wait for network. So the first thing in my program, I ping Google and keep pinging it. Actually, I try to open Google's home page, actually, and keep doing that until I actually get it. And it only takes a second, sometimes 2 seconds, but it solves the problem. So despite the fact that the Pi thinking, or rather the desktop thinking, it's got a network connection, it hasn't. It's not true. So that's another misnomer in the Raspberry Pi stratosphere. Little by little, and eventually I'll have the perfect system, by which time the satellite will have probably fallen out of the sky. Then I'll have to think of something else to do. So I guess now we're going over to, oh, we've done Martin, haven't we? It must be Leon next. ZS1MM, Leon. Over to you, Leon. Sorry about that, you were that dink.
Okay, thanks, Michael. Yes, make sure your meter's got enough signal, that's all I can say. And hello to Nick and to Brian, who was again flattening some lipos there at the airfield. It's a beautiful day for flying here today. We planned on flying our night birds on the plane at my friend's house last night, but by 11 o'clock yesterday morning it was 22 knots here. It started off like this, but yeah, so maybe we must fly tonight. I must put something on charge. The night bird, the transmitter should be okay. I've got lithium ions in that, so that just stays full. Anyway, okay, nothing else from this side. There was one, oh yeah, Martin Clockman. Yeah, you think that's a big spring. You must you must work on his master's voice gramophone and take that spring apart. I've done it quite a few times because they break off either at the center or on the outside where the hook is. So you take it out of that canister and you anneal the broken end and punch a new hole into it. That's a powerful spring. His master's voice, or even a Decca one also. That's a mighty spring. Gee whiz, when it climbs out of that drum, it's all over the place. Yeah, watch out for your eyes. Anyway, I didn't have a fancy machine like that. I had to put it back curl by curl from the outside, working inwards. Yeah, anyway. Okay, that's it from me. I'm going to have lunch now. I'll be watching GATKOE. If you want to play that video, I'll love to see it. It'll be very nice. And yeah, Phil, somewhere there in cyberspace, sometime I'm going to have this drawing ready for you about the bat receiver, and I'll either put it up here, or then you could just press record and make your own drawing, or I can take a picture and WhatsApp it to you, or whatever. We shall do something. Right. I must then give it to Nick. G4IMO for the group from ZS1 Mike saying 73s, but I'm watching while I'm having some lunch.
Yep, okay, Leon, thanks for that. Just check my audio is working. Yep, okay. Yes, turn that down. Yep, okay, all very interesting. Interesting net this afternoon. What was I going to comment on? Oh yeah, Michael, your camera. I'm looking at my image now on the screen, looking at the frame on my glasses here. It's significantly sharper. Your image appears sort of fairly soft. I mean, I'm sending 1280 by 720, It's 25 frames at the moment, but my image appears to be sharper. I'm only using a cheap C920 here as the camera, so it isn't anything special. But anyway, right. Anyway, it's now started to rain here, so looks like our summer's over. It's not particularly warm either. It's only about 17 degrees. So was a few days ago. It was so hot here. It was impossible to sleep. It was on 27 degrees. I think it got up to here. 26, 27. Pretty hot. Anyway, I think that's enough from me, I think. What was I going to say? I think that's about it. I think I've answered everything. So I'll say cheerio, and I will continue to watch. And I think Brian is still there, are you? I think so. So I'll put it round to you, Brian. G6HFS to take G4 IMO.
Okay, right. Well, I hope that's helped a few people. Yeah, I was off frequency. I don't know why. What am I displaying at the moment? Near enough the same as everybody else I've been watching this afternoon. There's a few kilohertz difference, but yeah, I don't know why. I checked in the Pluto string and I had it way down. I must have been fiddling at some point and forgot to put it back. I was probably looking at the bandwidth of the Pluto to see how much it's different between what you put in the string and what it actually does. See how far it was off, but it's evidently I forgot to put it back. Yeah, well, I'll just say good afternoon. Very interesting net view on, and Nick out here. Yeah, it's just got overcast, and the temperature outside is 17, so we've got no rain yet. The only other thing I didn't mention, I think I mentioned it on the Thursday BATC net, was the car I had. It's a MOT, which it passed, but the 4 bits of rubber on each corner didn't. Fronts were worn down to the limit over here. The rears were chafed on the inside, and all 4 were perished. That was a nice expense this week just gone. Anyway, it's all done. So I'll say 7.3 this afternoon and hand it back to Gary, and try not to cut myself off this time. ZS6YI from G6HFS.
Okay, Brian, very good, and I'm pleased to see the unit got through the MOT. It's always an expensive thing, isn't it? Driving's an expensive hobby. Right, I'm going to close the net. I just want to also thank everyone on YouTube that's watching. As usual, there's Henry. He's now CT7ARD, settling nicely in Portugal, and he's waiting for his transmitter to come from South Africa. Then he'll be on. Peter's watching at work. GW7, what's his call sign now? BZY. Hello, Regina, always watching. DG5 Fox Mike. And then there's Adam, Sierra Papa 9 Alpha Charlie Quebec. And then who else? Dirk, ZD6 Delta Hotel. And Nigel. Hi, Nigel. Nice to see you on. Nigel Reeve. And then Mike Willers and a lot of other chaps on, that's G0 MJW. And hello to Matt. Matt, yeah, he's watching as well. And yeah, I still watch your program from time to time. When it comes up, it pops up on the screen, and always have a look, Matt. So I find it quite good still, so, or very good actually. So there we go. And hello to Tajir, R6WAX. Yeah, well, when the rest of the kit arrives now, hopefully it'll be worth something. Anyway, it was just a spur of the moment, lying in bed. I thought, oh, this looks good. Let's try and get it. So anyway, so with that, I'm going to close the net. And I know Martin said, what's the time? Well, he's already 17 minutes gone. So I'll throw it in the air back to Martin G8KOE, and we'll see each other all next week, all being good. This is ZS6YI closing the DATV net and just throwing it in the air for whoever wants to continue. 7-3 all.
Yeah, okay there. Thanks, Gary. Yeah, I'll pop the video up if people are interested in watching it. It's no problem. And I'll keep an eye on things. And on the back detector there, Leon, fine, yeah. I know Phil is doing his kitchen. So I think it's about another week to go for it to be finished. So that's why he's not been on. He's worn out, I think, from moving the hardcore. I think there was a wall that came down and various other things. And anyway, that's what he's up to. Right, I'll pop the video on and see how we go. That's if it plays okay. I did notice there was a slight hiccup earlier, but we'll see. If it plays okay, we'll go for it. From G8KOE.
So this is our special Radio Mi Amigo broadcast on the top of the Eifel here in Germany, just south of Cologne. And it's our pleasure as a group here at Radio Mi Amigo International to introduce you to the one and only Burkhard, who helps to run our shortwave service from Krakow. Burkhard, hi.
Hi, Paul.
And most of all, thank you for the beer.
Oh, I hope it tastes good for you.
It's brilliant. It's lovely. So this is a pretty impressive setup here, really, isn't it? We've got aerials everywhere. We've got towers. There's a whole load of equipment which hopefully you're going to show us around. Can you just explain a bit about this site before we start looking in detail at it?
Yes, this area around 6,000 square meters was built in the early 60s and was formerly used as a police station for radio communication. And the setup is with 5 antennas in shortwave as a Breitband dipoles, and in the middle is a 30-meter concrete pole with microwave dishes for the connectivity formerly to Düsseldorf, to the main city, and now it's used for the mobile provider like Vodafone and T-Mobile. And yeah, this is a basic antenna setup here in the area. Every antenna can transmit from 3 megahertz, 3 megacycles up to 50 megacycles. And all these transmitters are based on the coax cable for the transmitting.
So how high above sea level are we here?
We are here around about 630 meters above sea level, and this is a very high point, so there's no natural obstacle heading north, direction Cologne, Düsseldorf. And so it's even for FM broadcasts a good facilities to transmit from.
And one of the things that really strikes anybody that comes here is the amount of wire up in the sky. Can you just explain these antennas to us?
Yes, if you see these so-called Reusen-antenna, this is made as a broadband dipole. It's at the very last end as a resistor and inductivity on both sides, symmetric, to make it more flexible regarding the frequency. And in the middle we have symmetric support by a feeder. Here we have this feeding point with the balloon and the big coax cabling coming from here. It's unsymmetric. The balloon transforms this to 300 ohms and then it's going to the top in the middle of the dipole. So I think we have a voltage round about from 600 volts high frequency on this feeder wire.
Just to explain to the layman listener, if you like, in terms of these aerials, they're dedicated to special frequencies that you're licensed for, aren't they? So what are the frequencies that you operate on here?
Yes, so let's start with this here. This is the one used for 7310. Shortwave transmitting, and the other one going this direction, it's used for 605 megacycles. And then later on we have here on the right side so-called loop antenna for the 75 meter frequency, and here on the top of the house we have the antenna used for 9560 kilocycles exactly, megacycles.
So on a good day when all these services are running, particularly the shortwave ones, what kind of cumulative power have we got coming around this site?
Too much, meaning it sucks a lot of you have easily more than 20, 30, 40 kilowatts in total.
Okay, well, now just before it rains and the camera gets wet, could we maybe have a look at the kit in the hut? That would be nice. Can we see the equipment?
Of course, you can go and have a look. Okay,
let's go.
What is this bunker?
Yeah, these are the outcoming things from the bunker. If you see this small area around here, this is a bunker under this grass area, about 80 square meters, and this is usable for, let's say, air conditioning, for fresh air, etc., etc. And on the other side you see this strange chimney. It's come for the diesel generator. There's a big diesel generator in the bunker, we see later on. And all this stuff here is this roof directly in front of me. You can move this roof, then you have an entrance going to the bunker directly. If you have heavy equipment and so on, you can put this thing inside. So we are going here from the cellar level now, one level more down to the bunker, and we are going underneath the table.
Yes. Underneath all the copper wire.
Yeah.
It's like a truly government installation, isn't it? Very professional. We're in the equipment room now. How many meters below ground level are we here?
We are here now about 6 meters.
So we're 6 meters below the house.
Yeah.
A cellar is normally quite a cool place, isn't it? But here, of course, I can hear the whirring of fans. There's a lot of equipment in here, and it's actually quite warm, isn't it?
It is very warm, especially we have now more than 30 degrees outside. And my air conditioning is working half craft because I want to use not too much power. But the transmitter can easily have 30, 35 degrees. They are very robust and very reliable. They can work with 40 degrees. No problem at all.
So just give us a quick guided tour of the kit then. What have we got here?
Yeah, so we started here. This is the entrance. So the old bunker, like this, you can use it, open it.
So we've got a very thick door here. It's like a safe.
Yeah.
You could lock somebody in here, I guess.
So if you close the door, then we have more or less 1 bar plus. And this clean air is produced by this machine with the filtering. The sub-distribution for the power supply. So normal situation, out, and diesel generator. And this is for air conditioning, regulation.
Is it working today?
Today it's not working. So far I have only 35 degrees here. It's quite cozy.
It's quite cozy.
And further on, here's some equipment. This is a dummy load. This is a test receiver for shortwave. In the background, this is a diesel generator. Here's the air conditioning. Yes, we have an FM transmitter from Rote und Schwarz. And then further on we are going to the so-called shortwave area.
So now we move to a further room. The noise is increasing. The temperature's going up. What have we got in here then, Burkhard?
No, we have something around 30 degrees and this room...
70 degrees?
Ah, 30.
Oh, right. Seems warmer than that.
Just calibrated here.
Okay.
And humidity is about 50%, so it's quite fine. And this is a transmitter for 731. I push on. I have to bring back the power again. Zack. Because I interrupted to have no interference for the setup. This is the transmitter for 7310. This is the transmitter for 3985. And this is the transmitter for 6005. And belonging to this transmitter, if I want to increase the power, I go then to the 20 kilowatts amplifier. And then this is going one way to the vertical antenna we saw outside, or to a loop to more horizontal radiation.
So typically what power outputs are these running at?
This every transmitter makes something roughly about 1 kilowatt. 1, 2, 3, so 3 kilowatts. And you see some measurement equipment from the 60s. Here is a spare part for the exciter. This is for controlling. And then further on we have here an antenna patch panel. All signals coming from the transmitters are patched to the right antenna. And this old-fashioned standard DATV C connector. And then later on we go to the dummy load room and the high power switching room. So from this level on we have 20 kilowatts or 30 kilowatts and more. This twin ventilator is necessary for cooling the 20 kilowatt amplifier. So 20 kilowatt is designed, but Rote und Schwarz guaranteed 20 kilowatts. I can easily tune it up for 30 and 40 kilowatt. And I have here an old tube. Maybe I go outside and show you, because this tube belongs to one of these transmitters. So this tube looks very good, but it has more than 100,000 hours. Whoa. So this is burned out. And you have to replace the tube, let's say, every 2 years. Depends how long the transmitter is running. Then you replace this tube then for the transmitter.
Is that the one that you replaced a couple of months ago on the 6th?
Yeah, exactly. Therefore, it was laying here on the dummy load. I forgot to put it back to my spare part room. Exactly. This was broken. Remember, we had a big power decrease, and then it's going very quickly. Within 2 or 3 days, it's going down to 100 watts only.
Yeah. In terms of qualifications, technical know-how for all this kind of kit, I mean, there's some pretty dangerous stuff here. So how technically qualified are you and Christian?
Yes, it's of course you have an education, a technical education, but you are motivated to learn all this stuff. Meaning, first you buy your first transmitter. So I started when I was 16. My first transmitter I had at 16, and later on I went to the Netherlands because it was in the 70s. We could buy the transmitters very cheap in Netherlands, bring them back to Germany and bring them on air, especially on the free radio parrot side.
Did you buy them in Groningen?
Exactly.
That's where we bought our transmissions at Decibel Radio. And Hofstad and Den Haag.
Okay. But further on, the official stations in Germany, they sold this stuff, and mainly these transmitters were used for let's say, police, marines, and so on. And especially this 20 kilowatt amplifier was used close to Wiesbaden for the BKA, Bundeskriminalamt in Germany. And this was the times when more or less the shortwave was in and necessary, with high power.
Yes. Now we move into a further room, a bit cooler in here, less going on, I guess.
Because the 1.5 kilowatt transmitter from Telefunken is not on the air. So this is used as
What frequency is that?
the same shortwave frequency like the SK1 from Rodo & Schwarz, and it's a little bit more power with a big tube inside and so on, and even this is more or less in a very old-fashioned setup, meaning Telefunken was late 60s, not on the same level like Rodo & Schwarz. But this is very nice. It's all manual. So the one we saw before, you can drive remotely. This is the good stuff with this all wheel, so you have to do everything manually. And this is the difference.
You've got some Roden Schwartz here that looks kind of 21st century, but you've got stuff here that looks like it goes back to what, the 40s, the 50s? Perhaps?
The 50s. This is one of the 50s. This transmitter, for instance, is used for airfields, for flight control stuff.
Yeah.
It's
real military defense stuff, isn't it?
With sensors, therefore it's all in green. And it's the other one. And if you have a look here, all these spare parts, you need spare parts because this stuff is good, but from time to time it's broken. You have this is the stuff you need for the let's say for the 20 kilowatts transmitter, and if you have a shot inside, you see this is built very solid. This is a coil, it's moving one, it's a lot of mechanical stuff, and if you see inside, it looks complicated, but it's self-explaining. So you have the coil, you have the condensators, you have the motors to drive and so on. It's very easy to understand, but on a high mechanic level. Yeah. This is the stuff for the 20 kilowatt, and it's you cannot do this manually. You have all these mechanical motors, so even you have high, even the anode plate current voltage is something about 8 kilovolts. So you cannot do like this. Probably you have to be very carefully. If you make one faulty, it's the wrong position, you are dead for sure. So therefore it's everything very remotely controlled.
That's why it's important to use dummy loads, isn't it? To set this kit up on low power before switching in the antennas and putting the high power in.
Exactly, that's the case. And in addition, I have another small room here, with, of course, with a dummy load. This is modern. I need this for if I make a TV. Yeah. I have a test demodulator, and I have to control the signal. So this is a
TV sender.
Yeah, TV sender, 1 kilowatt, and with a measurement rack. And I use this for amateur TV. There's still one amateur TV we can use for analog transmitter, and I use it from time to time and put it on antenna, and it's going a region about 100 kilometers.
Oh. How many watts?
1 kilowatt.
1 kilowatt.
1 kilowatt, yeah. And again, a small dummy load to make first checks before you go on air.
This dummy load is about 1 meter tall, isn't it? Almost.
Yeah. And then the power is going via this cable trace, then to the tower. No? This is all going underneath. We have our standing.
So we've got holes in the wall with big, thick cables.
Yeah.
That are about 3 centimeters wide that go up through the ceiling and then out into the field.
Yeah, I did only one time a hole here in this hall. The hole is something about minimum 60 centimeters, like this.
60 centimeters.
Yeah, so it's a very, very old concrete. You say one hole per day, then it's enough.
So in terms of power generation, how many kilowatts of AC power do we have here?
In total we have something around 60-70 kVA.
And what happens when maybe the main AC power generator goes? How much, are you able to survive on petrol generator power or any resilience?
Yes, basically yes, but normally the power supply is very safe. I have within the last 10 years here only 1 or 2 big power interruptions, and that was only 1 hour. But in case, if there's no power available, I put on the diesel generator and I'm on diesel.
Because this is obviously a big professional business with several radio stations occupying this site, so you've got to make sure that it's up and running 24/7, 365 days a year, haven't you?
Exactly. And therefore power supply is needed and must be reliable in terms of if there's a power failure, you put on the diesel and you can transmit and nobody will notice the difference. All right. In case of atomic war. What we can do here is my spare part room. It's nice to make some close-ups with some interesting parts.
Oh gosh, look at this. Oh, look at this. So now we're in the spare parts room. Burkhard, I've seen a workshop. In fact, my Radio Shack it's a little bit like this, but this is very impressive. My gosh, we've got a reel-to-reel deck there on the floor. There's all kinds of capacitors, resistors, components. I can see tuning capacitors.
Transmitters.
Yeah, even a passive transmitter, meaning just in case you need some spare parts.
Spare S cable.
Yeah.
So talk us through what we've got in here.
Yeah, so we start, for instance, with this fantastic tube from Siemens. This is a tube in the 20.
This is like a great big cylinder. It looks like it's. It looks like it's. It looks like the engine off an aeroplane. To be honest with you.
Yeah, but the tube itself can make 50 kilowatts. But you know, Rode and Schwarz are making to be always on the very very safe side. We make only for 20 kilowatt, not to make too much overload for the parts and so on. Yes, this is a tube.
How heavy is it?
20 kilo something. I don't mind.
Yeah, I can see you struggling there as you pull it off the shelf.
Of course, this one is a used one. I have in total 4 brand new one, just in another room as a spare part. You need tubes. This tube you cannot buy anymore. That's the problem. But even if this tube is broken, you put it not away. You would it bring back to the manufacturer and replace it, meaning repair it. Yeah, all these, you know, the coils and stuff you need. Some, another wonderful transmitter for FM, for the air
This is a big dark green cabinet with handles on the front, dials and knobs. Incredible piece of kit.
Exactly.
And you know, it's the right coax connector, so it's a little bit bigger than a normal BNC connector, but this is designed for up to 50 kilowatts.
This is bigger than a gasoline house.
Yeah.
In your car.
So this standard was called, or is called, a DC-Fix D, up to 50 kilowatts.
Wow.
And the small one, it's only up to 10 kilowatts.
It's probably about 10 times the size of normal coax that goes in the back of a TV set.
But it's a nice standard. You see, it's self-explaining. You know, you have the connector, you have in the middle, you have this going in the coax cable, so you make not something wiring, and it's only mechanic. Yeah. It's really reliable and very very solid.
And for that kind of high power, it needs to be, doesn't it? It's got to be very tough, very solid, weatherproof.
Maybe you can use small equipment, but then only for 1 or 2 hours. But if you think and if you work in 24 hours, 7 days per week, it must be very solid. Oh. Here another transmitter.
What is this? What is this?
So now we move into another room.
This is a spare transmitter for Radio 700. This is another spare transmitter, 1 kilowatt, just in case, you never know. And here now the transmitter is running for 9560. Come on in.
Oh, wow.
And this is another room, more or less when I want to have a little bit smaller, a little bit more cozier. I use this room, and I have a couple of receivers and transmitters here. And even I want not to do too much repair stuff in the bunker. I'm here, it's warmer. You look, this is just in check. I have to repair a bit the exciter. And you see here's another transmitter from Telefunken, 400 watts. And some measurement equipment. All built, let's say, in the 60s, 65, up to 90s, 70. So 60s and 70s. This was the high time of this equipment.
The other nice thing about this room is you've given it a kind of a, if you pardon what I say, a Radio Shack feel about it. You know, we're underground here, but we've got wooden panels on the walls here, and it's a very cozy feel, isn't it? Nice desk, so I could see you sitting here looking at all these needles flicking away.
Exactly. It's really nice to work here and to repair this equipment. Further on, here's some test receiver from FM. This is one picture from Roth und Schwarz, meaning they're showing this is the first crystal clock. Not portable one, but first crystal clock. And this is the first field strength measurement equipment. Here's the original. Here's on the photo. Right. They used when the build-up after the Second World War, the first FM transmitter close to Munich. They made field strength measurement, and this was the equipment to measure the field strength. Very historic photo. All right. Yes.
Very impressive.
And a little bit from my business. I worked in the TV broadcast scene, and I was working in Cologne.
I got like this bit, Leon.
And I have here a small this is a TV control room. So I have you saw the TV transmitter. Yeah. So you need a control transmitter, control room for the transmitter to produce the signals. So this was formerly an edit suite with 3 analog VTRs, Beta KMSB, exactly. And I designed this with this Grass Valley Master 21 as a transmission control room. So the vision and the sound are controlled here from this room. And in addition, I have here an old sound thing from BFA. So this was designed for MCE. Yeah, no. It's very rare. You know the F500?
Wow.
Nice one. If you look like this, it's a good sound. You see? You put it on. You see the sound, no? It's really good stuff, no?
Yeah.
Yes, this is all the equipment from the early 80s, I would say. Early 80s.
Kein Weg zurück von
hier. Genau, pass auf.
Very impressive.
Wow, it's warm.
All right.
Wow, it's warm down there.
Because all the transmitters, they can be controlled remotely. This Roth und Schwarz SK1. Oh, still not raining.
Good.
Paul, now we are in the normal house, and when I have my coffee in the morning, I go here in my control check room and to see how the signals are running and so on. And I have this area here with a field strength measurement, so I can control the field strength here for shortwave and
field strength.
Yeah, for FM as well. And yes,
so the SWR is what some people would refer to that as.
Yeah, exactly.
So when it's wet, maybe a little bit higher.
Exactly. Depends. It's wet or it's sunshine. Or you have a test receiver, meaning I put on the sound here from 605 now.
So we've got 6005, 7310, 9560 on the presets.
These corals, white corals as they seem, these aragonite formations.
Control 7310, control 6055.
And that signal is reading what? The actual finished processed RF output?
Exactly. This is the final master control.
Yeah.
And that's it.
What's the tube doing?
This tube is a present for you. Yeah, prepare it. This is one of the transmitters we saw there from the 60s.
Oh, wow.
They prepared the setup, and you put this on your desk at home and feel funny if the tube is burning.
I would love one of those.
That is fantastic.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, of course, if I want to do from here, from this control room, some live transmissions, I use this old Siemens audio mixer, a very rare one, but very, very solid. And this is fine. You have 6 inputs, and parallel with this old-fashioned stuff, I made the control of the shortwave transmitters. So it's going serial. First of all, you put the mode on it. You say AM is for 3. Then you quit with 0. Next one is the frequency. You dial the frequency, quit this with 0, and so on and so on. And then you can remote frequency change and everything. This is a very old technology.
This is fantastic.
But it works.
And it's an old telephone dial with a few buttons on it. You know, that's all it looks like, but that's an amazing piece of kit.
That's one. The normal one is only 0, but this one is for to enter.
Yes.
A special one.
Very clever.
This is incredible.
Yeah, I really like the filament, though. That's the kind of thing we could have for Radio Mi Amigo. You know, give it away as a prize with Mi Amigo on the glass.
Oh.
Wouldn't that be great? Just a little desktop thing, better than a mouse mat, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And there's your big picture again with the receiver and the mountains.
Exactly. This is a big picture from the first FM transmitter in Germany with the field strength measurements in Bavaria. Yeah. We have here a very modern transceiver von Rode und Schwarz with MOSFET power, and you can have it, you know, with this microphone and loudspeaker, put in the frequency. It's built in the 90s. I use it mainly only for ham radio. So for broadcast, it's not bad, but not reliable enough.
So are you a ham licensed operator yourself?
Yes, correct.
And what's your call sign, instead of interest?
Delta Fox 5 X-Ray Victor.
Delta Fox 5 X-Ray Victor. Correct. We'll listen out for you. What bands do you work, typically?
Mainly the lower bands, the 80-meter bands, or 160-meter bands.
And what's your furthest QSL that you've had?
I have no QSL. So, meaning I have some friends, we make communication, but I'm not making QSLs with QSL cards and stuff like this. It's not my thing. To do it, that's fun, not to collect papers.
Well, Bernhard, this has been an absolutely fascinating tour around this wonderful house. As I say, it is an amateur radio ham's dream. And of course, you're providing such an important service to the public across Germany for their AM shortwave services, etc. So any final words for the watchers and the listeners of this special program?
Let's keep the shortwaves. Let's fight and live for shortwaves. That this fantastic band will live in the world of tomorrow.
Just out of interest, what is your own personal interest in all of this? Because you've got to be quite a special person, haven't you, to live in a field with all this radio frequency energy around you?
Well, the best moment is always to fire on the transmitter and you see the power is on, and to get the feedback nowadays from email. This can be heard all over the world. This is a magic moment. Meaning fire on, make maybe some test signals or test program, and you have always a feedback from all the freaks who can receive this.
And your favorite station?
In total, of course, because it's a radio, it's a classic radio, it's Mi Amigo. Definitely.
Oh, yeah. So the fact that Radio 700 were here last week and you said the same thing to them.
Well, 700 is a different approach. 700 make a program for broadband people, let's say. But Mi Amigo International, Radio Mi Amigo is something for the freaks, the old freaks. Meaning, love it or leave it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we call it Bovril or Marmite.
All right.
You either like it or you don't like it.
Exactly.
Right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. I've watched it many times, and I never get disappointed on it. So I'll say 7.3 is all, and leave the frequency clear. But yeah, I think it's amazing. I do like AM, etc. 7.3s from G8KOE.